Guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes. And today we're pretty much not going to entertain you. We're going to, well, you know how we do. We're going to end up talking about all kind of stuff. But today, one of the things we're going to talk about is the current state of zombiehood. Okay, how far along is humanity, I guess you'd say, into being a zombie? And yeah, I'm showing my camera here for a moment, but when I switch out of this scene, my camera won't be on anymore. I just wanted to try to show my face as much as I can until I'm able to get this upgrade to the studio PC. One day it'll happen. And I'm a patient man, so we're going to wait till that day happens. And anyways, let's see who all we have here with us so far at the moment. And I know Roxy is here in the house.
Hello, Governor.
Hello. And
Shannon is with us too.
Oh, she
Yes,
is.
hello.
Oh, and her mic's working. Excellent. And
We have our tech gremlins down to a minimal on our side now.
We're on the ball.
For the most part.
We're on the ball today. Okay, Shannon.
Yes.
How close? Where are we at? Just your opinion, okay? Where is society as a whole at when it comes to the idea of fulfilling the and I use this word lightly here, but prophesied zombie apocalypse that is supposed to come one day? Where, because they've been showing it in movies and comic books and video games, and got some of that to show here in a minute, but where do you think we're at? Because we've talked about this a number of times over the years. What are you seeing out there in LA land? Los Angeles.
Honestly, what I see is we've got anywhere from this year to the next 3 years. All this has to play out before Agenda 2030 is set in stone. And so big things are going to happen in the next couple of years to really break down and traumatize society to get them to comply. And I would say, and to me, I feel it will be more along the lines of less scary zombie like at first, more hive mind like pluribus kind of thing at first. And when the pit is fully open and people are truly integrated into that system with the digital ID and all of that stuff, that's when you're going to see more takeover on a very obvious demonic level.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how this ties into AI. And
hey, just an FYI, Mike's reporting muffled low audio.
Muffled
Is
low
that on my
audio?
end?
Okay. Thank you, Mike, for the update. It looks to be correct on my side.
Oh, Mike said never mind, it was on his side.
Okay. Awesome.
Good job, Mike.
Our sniper technician had a faux-pas.
Yeah. Mike don't play, son. He's on it.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for letting us know. Keeping us on our toes, because we've done that plenty of times, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. So, how's this, I'm just asking random questions here. How does this AI play into this? Because it's obvious that they're using AI to create fake everything, so nobody knows what to believe. Just like the weather storm that just came through that was going to wipe out the country, and it didn't do it. It didn't do much of what they said it was going to do. They were going backward and forth on the forecasts. I think that it struck me yesterday that that's strategic. Again, creating confusion. You won't even know what to believe is going to happen with the weather. Why wouldn't they incorporate the weather? Because, it's something that even if you don't watch television, you might watch the weather forecast.
Well, go ahead, Shannon.
Oh, no, go for it.
This is the sad thing. There were people on this planet long before they had mainstream media or the Weather Channel or AccuWeather or the internet. They survived because they learned how to read nature. If you quit worrying about what mainstream media says and pay attention to nature, the plants in your yard, what are they doing, how are they reacting, then you'll know how the weather's about to go. We have become completely too dependent on what these boxes in our hands, which are turning us into zombies, are telling us the weather's going to be or how we're supposed to do things. Last time I checked, them Indians and the people from hundreds of years ago, they didn't have CNN or Fox or the Weather Channel. They lived much happier lives, much simpler lives. They depended on nature to give them the direction of what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they also didn't have people spraying stuff in the air up there either, but I mean...
How do you think, for instance, I mean, we're saying this, so maybe we should try to back it up a little bit, because I agree with you, Roxy. Let's say there was a hurricane and we were on the East Coast here. How would we know by watching the weather or nature in any way, shape, or form that there was a hurricane coming? Are there any signs you can think of?
Well, there's signs everywhere. I mean, there are things that we cannot predict. Earthquakes, tornadoes, things of that nature. Now, if we did not have modern technology or hurricane, we probably wouldn't know till it was on top of us. But I always go back to what my grandma said. She said even a billy goat's smart enough to get out the rain. You just got to open your eyes and look around you. Like everything in nature will react to what is coming if you can see it, if you pay attention, and if you know what you're looking for. Not to say that I do, but we have all become way too dependent on these squawk boxes.
I like that comment.
Which one?
The one that's on screen.
You'll
find the zombie apocalypse fighting ice in Minneapolis.
Well, and
I kind of got a point there a little bit.
Well, and zombie, see, this is the thing. Remember when I said the other day, what does a unicorn look like to you? And why does it look like that? Because that's what you've been told it looks like. So in our idea, a zombie is this grotesque, bloody, just, coming at you with their arms out, or like on The Walking Dead.
Won't eat your brains.
Zombie does not mean some dead creature just coming at you wanting to bite you. It means somebody who's not here. Like,
maybe it means the opposite. And what I mean by that is the way that the dark side operates is they operate in reflection and opposites. It's like maybe the person can look totally normal, totally an average person, maybe even good looking or beautiful. And yet maybe they're a zombie. Maybe we're zombie. Not all of us. I'm not referring probably to anyone listening here. But maybe the zombies are already there. I mean, they act like it in a lot of ways. They've got the hive mind activity going on. What were you going to say, Shane?
I was going to say that's a point that we have brought up before in the past as we've gone down this rabbit hole of Pluribus, the show. How really, in essence, how is Satan really going to deceive you? Is he going to give you the scary, demonic, obvious choice right away? Or is he going to bait you in with this utopian, all is one beautiful idealism in the hive mind setting to draw you in and allure you in to becoming like that? And I do believe, because I've been having a lot of really interesting conversation with the guest we had on
He's in
Thursday,
the audience,
Clayton.
by the way.
Hi, Clayton. What's up? Hi.
Is
And
that
yeah,
Clayton
exactly.
Vicarious? The one
Yes.
that's got the
He
comment
took
on
off
screen
today
right now?
for a dental appointment. I told him if we'd have known
Right.
that, he'd have been on here with us.
Exactly. Oh, hi.
We actually were
and-
talking about it earlier, Clayton, having you on the Supernatural show as a guest. Yeah, we'd like that, Clayton. So feel free to organize that with Roxy or Shannon, because I know y'all guys talk, and I've heard a lot of great things about you. So I would love to have you on here.
Yes,
Thank
I
you for being
really
here.
would love for him to have conversation with all of us, and I'm hoping too to introduce him to David Beverly with Jesus Freak Computer Geek, because I feel like all of us have a lot to put together, and just the puzzle pieces we've helped each other to put together through all the stuff, which he had found an old video of ours with Dan on it talking about black goo, because we had, brought that up. And, between these data centers that are ancient, we know these are ancient, they've been there. And, something to tie in, Roxy, with a lot of the stuff that you've been researching about this nuclear winter and all this stuff, a part of me thinks that maybe they preemptively tried to reinstate this AI, but things went wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm finding that even in the time of like the Renaissance period and all of these things, there were more and more discoveries of these underground, already existing, vast, huge warehouses full of cloth and technology that was like inexplicably impossible with the materials they had and the amount of people to mass produce. So they oh, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying the whole 1812 thing that I'm going through, trying to figure out what these blasts were. Stuff still isn't making sense. How did you have these buildings and that kind of technology, but you have donkeys and wagons?
Right.
I mean, look at these cathedrals and these buildings, but yet you're riding around on a wagon and a mule in a ship with sails, and you're fighting a war with swords. I mean, something ain't kosher there. Something ain't matching up.
Well, this is where I'm kind of going with this, is they were discovering these things underground in, medieval Renaissance period of time. They, throughout those times, I think, were trying to understand how to utilize this, on the down low. And it didn't work out right. They didn't understand the things that we do now with the technology, right? They didn't even have the means to, due to the decay of society in a lot of aspects. And, they're rediscovering it, they're finding it. And I think things went really wrong, and it didn't work out to, what they expect. I mean, this is just my thoughts on that, but it's obvious to me that these things existed, and some of these people throughout history had discovered these things and kept it to themselves like it was something that they manufactured. I mean, even when it comes down to the clothing, okay? Like back in the Renaissance time, you had to, by law, wear certain colors, certain materials, depending on your class. And the biggest reason for that was because these materials were not in existence. They were not manufactured in their time. They were hoarding it and using it as power and control, and to be up in the aristocracies, and to use it as a big secret, So it became law. Like you could literally lose your life for wearing the color purple.
Sounds like The Handmaid's Tale, doesn't it?
Exactly. So, I mean, that's just one example, just the clothing alone. It's something that we don't even think about. We just automatically, oh yeah, they totally have these materials. But it's like you do the math, and the amount of mollusks to create that purple or that indigo color is impossible with the
See,
amount of fabric like that.
It's kind of crazy you bring up that indigo color. Here, about 2 weeks ago, I dreamed every night of that indigo color in like Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff. And it was like this high speed movie of flashes, and everything was indigo, 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 indigo. And it happened several nights in a row, and I never figured out why that was going on. It was back when I was down one of my Nephilim roads, and everything kept coming to indigo.
It's interesting because, again, these colors have frequencies and they have purpose. You know, they're used a lot in, you know, ritual rites and all of that stuff, even in the way that the colors that they put in, you know, the lights that we have on our streets and how they've changed those and how that affects your brain and all of those kinds of things. But, you know, I will say with this AI stuff and what that purpose is, the more and more I speak with Clayton and put together all these pieces that we've all been putting together for years, and rewatching that video with Dan on the black goo and the sentient thing and what's driving these are demonic things, you know, binding them into this space with these sigils. Who has the power and control over that? And these data centers, they're more like temples for the old gods. And when you get that digital ID, then you're connected to that being that is in that data center.
So with what you said, Shannon, and with what Roxy said, now you're talking temples, you're talking things like that. Now, Roxy, you've said before that in order to see what's going on now, you have to basically start at the beginning, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. So then we know that if they're trying to do this now, you know, the hive mind and all of this play out, like the zombies or anything, all of it play out, right? You have to look back, and you have to already assume that they've done this before. So let's go back to Tower of Babel, or let's go back to Egyptian pyramids. Now, we've theorized before that the pyramids were maybe more than one thing, likely for sure. But one of the things is that they were likely communication towers, meaning attempts at like hive mind communications. Why is it that these guys, like the Tower of Babel and like the Egyptians, they're always trying to reach the sky, you know? And I know you could say, well, they're trying to be like the Most High. And that's exactly right. But the Most High can do what? Talk to all of us, or any of us, at any moment he wants. Some of us are better at listening than others, but he can do it. And they certainly want to be like that. They want to be able to get in your head and influence your emotions, influence your beliefs, influence everything. And I'm wondering, if we look at Babylon and if we look at the Egyptian times, that we're probably going to see that they were doing this before, and maybe even be able to see how this zombie thing actually ends up playing out. Because a zombie is basically simply something that does not have its own will, right? It's just maybe a hive-minded, because let's think about the Borg on Star Trek.
Soulless.
Yeah,
NPC.
The Borg, NPC. The Borg, and on Star Trek, on the Borg, they had no free will. They were part flesh, but they were also part machine. And they were, what was the word they used? They, not incorporated. They would go around to different societies, different types of beings and stuff, and they would what's the word I'm looking for? They would bring them in as their own. There was a word they used. I don't think it really matters, but they would incorporate them into their system, and then their body is still operating, but they're not actually doing what they would be doing otherwise. They don't have the free will. They don't have their own spirit, their own soul. And with that in mind, it makes this image up here that we're looking at a little bit more, minus the dirty hair and the stuff like that, it makes it a little bit more that we're pretty close.
If you take that image and clean them up and you put them in pajamas and a hoodie, you got the whole teenage generation right there in one video, like one scene.
Yeah.
That is the whole high school generation now. They don't even wear clothes to school anymore.
What?
They wear pajama pants and hoodies, and half of them are toting blankies as binkies as juniors in high school.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, yeah, 100% on that. That is actually accurate. Now, I kind of wanted to bring this up, and I know, Roxy, you got into this, game, and I'm not, directing any of this at you, but as society as a whole was given the game Pokemon Go, I mean, we could literally pull up video after video after video of mass amounts of people just looking at their phone everywhere. There, no looking
Girl.
up. It was like, oh my God, it's here.
No.
The zombie apocalypse is here.
Me, my daughter, and my son-in-law with my two grandbabies at the time, which were in car seats, they're like 1-2 years old. We would load up in the minivan and go to Pokemon hotspots and literally just sit in the van like zombies and catch these cartoon characters on our phone.
I mean, people died because they chased this imaginary, or well, I would say demon creature, in my opinion, that you can't actually see with your eyes, but this device will show you. Like, people went out on the freeway, got killed, people ended up in people's houses, and when they weren't supposed to be trespassing, there are people who actually went off of a cliff to get this imaginary thing.
All right, that comment right there on the screen that Clayton made. If you go to the Bible and you look up where they tell you the throne of Satan is, the throne of Satan sits exactly where the CERN is.
Exactly. And you know what? This is not the only hadron collider that exists in the world. It's just the largest. It's the most powerful, but there are a bunch of them all around that will be activated, you know what I'm saying? And it's interesting because Clayton and I talked about the Starlink. He was like, keep an eye on, SpaceX and all this stuff, which I live fairly close to where they launch a lot of that. And, we kind of discerned that, each and every one of these satellites is directly giving a signal or a frequency or a sigil, if you want, of each and every one of these fallen angels or beings. And it's directing that energy down to us. And that just kind of blew my mind when we put that one together. It was
I watched a guy the other
God.
day who took cymatics and frequency. In some of these buildings that I don't know why this architecture has picked at my brain for a long time, but some of this architecture that we see that is so old and we have no idea how they made it because we can't make it now. This guy took cymatics, which is where you put sand on a speaker with sound frequency, and it made different patterns. Then he scaled it up and made it a 3D model using cymatics. He printed those buildings on a 3D printer. So maybe that's how they made those buildings that we can't figure out how we can't make them now.
Right?
They use cymatics and frequency. And I mean, there's stuff over there I've looked at in some of these smaller countries, and there will be granite columns. I mean, like, two people can't go hand to hand and wrap around this column. But this column up at the top will have rings of granite, which you can actually spin, that are intricate, that are made out of the same block of granite, but it's free spinning. It's impossible. We can't do it now.
Question. Have
Yes, ma'am.
you ever heard of Edward Linkersham or Linkersham? He built the Coral Castle in Florida.
Yes, we talked about him one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now he said he built all of that himself using the ancient technology of the Egyptians and the pyramids, and he explains like the whole Coral Castle in itself is a big giant code of how it all works through frequency and magnetics and all of that kind of stuff. And it's very fascinating to look into. He was a Freemason. He was not shy about it, his association with that. And there were eyewitnesses of children and construction people who only just helped to move some of these things with trucks when he actually, because he built it once, took it apart, and then several miles in another area where the ley lines were more powerful, he then rebuilt it again. And the eyewitnesses were like, I mean, they didn't know how he did it, except for the kids actually noticed that they could see some of these blocks levitating, and they were all kinds of freaked out about it. And
Well, I'm gonna tell you about some grounding frequency kind of thing over here on this property that I'm on now. There's one particular spot on the property that when I am there, for some reason, it seems like my stomach tends to just, I don't know, my stomach goes crazy. Like, my stomach becomes visibly loud. Like, a digestive kind of only happens when I'm there. Like, I can walk out to that spot on the property, and within a few minutes, I got to find the house. It's weird. So I took a meter, and the frequency there is way off from anywhere else on this property for some reason. It literally physically affects me. It's so different.
Are you on a ley line?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that because it's literally the greenhouse.
There are some ley lines that cross too and can cause more frequency chaos.
And I don't know. Every time I go out to the greenhouse, it's like my whole digestive system just seems to kind of change. Like, I don't know. It's weird. And so I checked it the other day, and the electrical frequency there is way different than most of the other places on the property.
Interesting they chose to put the greenhouse on that spot.
I don't know. This man was a mason. I have figured out that the man that built this house was a mason. Clayton, I'm on it, buddy. I'm fixing to send you the cymatic 3D thing. I'm sorry. I don't want to hog the conversation. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, guys are fine. I was looking back to see when first off, when did video games actually start coming out?
70 something. It was like 70.
According to this, let's see. Yeah, it's on the screen. According to this.
Oh, Tennis for Two is 58.
Yeah, okay. And
dude, that timeline, I can't. Okay, sorry.
Then there was something in 62 called Space War. So,
maybe I'm thinking at home console.
Was supposedly a tennis game. Okay, innocent enough. Then the second video game that ever came out in 1962 called Space War, developed by MIT, ran on a digital computer, and and it was Space War. in my opinion, I would call that another fake predictive programming type of activity.
Well,
And then we,
notice real quick, just to point out, right?
Mhm.
You see in the next timeline, that's when it says commercial era begins.
Yeah.
So this over here, that is military training. You know what I'm saying? They use that first.
I mean, back here.
Back here,
Yeah, and-
all of the tennis thing, that's the development, but when they did the space war thing, that was when they started developing more of the military training games. So that's it. It isn't until the 70s that you got it in a commercial use that people could actually interact with it on a public forum. It's just important to point out on the timeline.
Yes, and so the 70s is when some first commercial arcade video game like Pong was in 1972. Very simple video game. We most all remember that. And then it was 84 when supposedly the first widely credited zombie game came out, and it's called Zombie. And yeah, perfect name, right? Zombie. And I'm just looking at the timeline because I suspect between the 70s here and this 84 that there are many other ones in there that it's not listing here.
Well, and we always got to remember that anything put out there in front of us that long ago, that was to warp and control our mind of what we thought zombies would be.
Okay, so fun fact, guys. There is a movie that came out not too long ago that is how it explains the backstory of Tetris and how that came out into the public eye. It was very interesting and eye-opening because, of course, you got to understand the politics were obviously different, and we're talking they still were in the communism state, and that was falling at the time, but the government had full on control of every little electronic creation of the people and how it was produced and sold and utilized. And to see how the whole entire thing played out, I mean, the guy from America who tried to bring it out into the public was even, harassed and imprisoned for a minute and just a wild story. But the fact of the matter is there was so much control through government factions. Even our government was involved, and other corporations, and it was just insane to me that the amount of control by the government was so intense on this technology. And I just thought that was really important to mention, because it wasn't until the 90s, truly, like the late 80s, early 90s, that started backing off, and they wanted everybody to have an in-person console in your home.
Well, I go down the psychology side of things, because we all know they're trying to mentally manipulate us. I can show you that with the thing. If you listen, whatever your music service is, don't matter which platform it's on, if you don't have a playlist that you pay off of and it's just random, whatever they suggest, they can alter your mood, the mood of your area, your region, your city, your state, and they know, because every song that plays on there is encoded with a number value as far as, is it an angry song, a sad song, a happy song, a love song. They can use their pushed playlist to manipulate your emotion. So if we go to that and you go back to the psychology, because we know how they try to manipulate and control. If you think about things, and I was researching this the other day. Okay, I'm Gen X, so, my most formidable years of what I saw in movies to believe, like Back to the Future, Goonies, that kind of thing. If I saw something on TV then about an incident in a movie, let's just say, it's whatever movie, a zombie apocalypse. if that actually happens a few years later, your brain will not be as triggered or as emotionally volatile because you've already seen this and you know how it plays out. Or you will dismiss it because let's say that they had in a movie of a certain incident happening, and 10 years later you go, I think I've already heard about that. But you think it was something real you heard about, and it was actually a concept in a movie. Your brain doesn't differentiate the two.
Exactly. It is conditioning.
Yes.
It is a conditioning process. And here I'd like to bring this up, okay? Where do they target the most in the video game world? Children.
Mm-hmm.
They get you, just these kids, hours and hours and hours on these things. A lot of them are war games or building games, but a lot of them are war games.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Well, if you think about it, I have a wonderful friend who I grew up with, my best friend's little brother, and he was like a little brother to me, still is. He grew up on, video games like a lot of kids. And, when he ended up enrolling into the military, his position was he was in a tank at night on night reconnaissance where there are no lights out in Afghanistan and things along those lines. And what they were told to do was to take out targets. But the way the screens were and how you could see it with the infrared and all the technology, it was literally like a video game. So it completely detached the
human element.
The human element, so they could do and, take down whoever they wanted for, that whatever purpose. And they could be disconnected. But the amount of trauma it has caused him over the years when he came back has been just so awful. And the poor, he just has awful PTSD. He's so disconnected from reality still. Well, and it's like psychologically, it is so damaging.
These teenagers are completely disconnected from reality. I don't make it a secret that my daughter's in law enforcement. And, you hear a lot of things about what's going on, and this is where Daniel lives. She's actually in the next county over where Daniel lives. The 14-year-olds that are stealing cars and acting like they're in Grand Theft Auto. They think all of this gang banging, shoot 'em up, stealing cars is like a video game. They're out scoring points.
Yeah.
Think about this, right?
That's basically what the brain is operating on, yeah.
Think about this, right?
If they go to jail.
Yeah, if you would have had the Epstein files, okay, like 30, 40 years ago, the amount of outrage would be so much different than now. Now, it's like, there's a lot of us out there shouting out the truth and trying to protect the children and over sexualization, right? But think about how over the years, think of Brooke Shields, okay, when she was young and up until now, and how much skin do you see showing children? How much more sexualization is out there with children? And this is a conditioning process.
Slowly normalizing this
behavior. That's part of the reason why that spontaneous live last Friday went off the rails with me.
I'm so proud of you, girl. You go.
I've watched this guy, David Straight, and he gave a 15-hour seminar in Utah. And he's one of these guys that explains your sovereign rights. And in part of that, he was explaining how in some of the states, not in our state, but in some states, Child Protective Services is actually a private entity. And they get bonuses.
Yes, it is. Yep.
But you have that set up under an LLC, which also owns a transport company. They're connected to companies that own shipping containers. They're connected to all these different companies. And when you get a child in the system that's 8, 9, 10 years old, those are not the first kids that are fostered or adopted out. People who are going to adopt, they want small children. You want a child under 5 so they're not as damaged from remembering what their parents were and the reason they were taken. Not that all these people that are getting their children taken even deserve their children being taken. But anyway, these things are set up as such vast networks, piece within piece, that it's almost undetectable if you're not looking. It just looks like normal daily operation that we've been conditioned to, that this is okay. And in this conversation, I was talking the other day, and I realized that back in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, right on into 1920, it was perfectly normal for a 12-year-old girl to be married and start having children. My great-grandmother had her first one at 12. That is insanity.
We've always been told it's the life expectancy thing, but I beg to differ.
The only thing about childbirth that changes a woman's life expectancy is if she has a child after the age of 32, it will increase her life expectancy by 10 to 15 years by the introduction of stem cells from the fetus into her body. I can prove it. I got receipts.
Oh, speak it, girl. I'm just saying, like, that's been the excuse. But, you know, too, zombies. Think about. Mm-hmm.
I know.
I mean,
we took over the conversation.
No, I didn't say that to say you were taking over the conversation. I was saying it because we were also talking about pyramids. And I was going through these video games, looking at all these different video games. And this one's from 1993, Macintosh. And it just happens to be talking about zombies, and it has the pyramid. One of the images of a pyramid in it. And or a temple.
Yeah, that looks Aztec to me. Mayan Aztec temple.
Sure. But it isn't by coincidence that they were built all over
Everything
the world.
is to program the NPC. They don't want you to have soul or individual thought or free will. They want you to be of hive mind. As long as you're of hive mind, they can control you. And just FYI, for anybody that uses AirPods, an Apple Watch, a smart device that is a wearable, you are connecting to the Internet of Bodies. Go look it up. When you wear that, you are just as connected to the internet as your refrigerator and your dishwasher. Why your dishwasher needs to hook to the internet, I don't know. Or your refrigerator, but it's hooked up.
Yeah, I don't do those
look at this image.
devices.
What I'm doing is looking at the symbolism. And y'all guys keep going with your conversation. I'm just inputting a little bit here and there. You can see these, looks like frequency, or something like that, or a spiraling kind of thing here coming off, and this is a video game about zombies. When they did these video games, these images were created for many different reasons, but also, just like they do with movies and everything else, they will put hints of some of the truth behind some of it in there. So when y'all guys see me pulling these up, you know what I'm doing. I'm decoding.
They are so clever at putting things in front of us to program us, to run us down a path they want us to go on. There have been many people reporting lately of building Faraday cage rooms to block out signals. Well, do a little research the other day. I found a couple of companies on the internet, everybody. You can actually buy a toboggan with a built-in Faraday cage.
Send me that link, girl.
Because there are people coming out of these Faraday cage rooms.
But they're on there.
Well, these Faraday cage rooms that they're building, when they come out of it, within seconds, they can hear the intrusive thoughts being pushed into their brain when they come back out into the internet in their house. And if you want to know why back in the 70s and 80s they had you to remove lead paint, that is it. Mm-hmm. You can actually buy a lead type Faraday paint to paint your room with to block the Wi-Fi signal. But if you don't think that, look up voice to skull technology. Mm-hmm. They can push thoughts in your mind that you're not even aware of. And I have recently begun seeing adult men, like, I love having a conversation as a grown-up with another person who's an adult, and we can have a conversation about when was the first time you saw pornography, the male species versus the female? What was pushed to you? How much of it did you see it? Because I've noticed that the male part of the species seems to be, at least back when we were growing up, seemed to be pushed more in that direction than the females were. Like it was just put all out in front of them. And if you start a young boy at 6, 8, 10 years old seeing that stuff, by the time they become a grown adult, it's taking weirder and weirder stuff for that dopamine, serotonin in a relationship to work. Everything is about body chemistry.
There is a famous wrestler actually who talks about that. You know, when he got really famous and, you know, things are just thrown at you. And it said it just ruined him on that level.
I'll be right back in just a minute, okay?
Okay.
Y'all guys keep chitter-chatting. Go for it.
Shannon, did you watch the vampire video that Clayton shared to us the other day? Oh, man.
I watched them all.
Oh, man. I watched the vampire Clayton, and I was on it a while ago, which explains so much to me, and that goes right down my Nephilim trail.
Yep. Oh, my gosh. And then I was thinking back to conversations we've had on the show before, and even rewatching the, you know, video with Dan and the black goo. And there's one that Dan is bringing up the, what is it called? The Osiris's chambers, you know, in the Great Pyramid. And you see just gobs of this black goo everywhere. And they try and tell you it's like some kind of resin or whatever. The chemical compounds in the body with the tint of skin. If you, and I'll try to share a link to that on my community board. But if you are a person who intakes human blood, different things start happening to you chemically inside. It will actually alter the color of your skin. You will start turning green or almost albino. You won't be able to go out in the sun. Imagine that. The reason I bring this up, and I don't know if everybody out there has heard my unicorn thing, but when I tell you I need you to picture a unicorn in your mind. You see a horse with a horn, you know, look like something out of a coloring book. Why? Why do you see that? Because that's what you were programmed a unicorn was. We don't have any in museums. I'm just saying, like dinosaurs or anything like that. If it's not a real living thing that you've seen, that's a manipulation on what somebody wanted you to see it as. Right. But so like in that video, you know, the vampire one, it talks about, you know, as the flood is going down, some of these vampire-esque type Nephilim and creatures went into sarcophagi, into hibernation. And some of them, you know, probably made it because, I mean, let's just say if that's Osiris's tomb or whatever, and he was really there, he's not there now, but there's ones that have, you know, remains in them. But it just made so much sense that this had something to do again with the blood of these creatures or some kind of symbiote, you know, goo that they helped preserve themselves, something. But it
Soylent
Green, who knows, right? But it has a lot to do with these beings. I've always felt it was like the blood of the Titans and like the OG ones, you know?
And Clayton has blown my mind on the fact that all these mummies that they have found of people, that them weren't just mummies preserved for death. Them sapsuckers was salted and seasoned and smoked. They were preserved for food later. That they weren't saving them people for a fancy burial. They was smoking them fools up, you know, like in the smokehouse with some seasoning for later. So it gives you a whole different, same as Pluribus, Zeno. And Zeno, I saw your thing about underground tunnel. Yeah, Pluribus. You've been on our show, ain't you, Zeno? But see, Umbrella Corporation, Hive Mind. Go look up Racine, Washington.
Yes, I was just gonna say
Wisconsin.
that.
Racine, Wisconsin. Yeah. But when when you go and look at these things, I've had to take a much different perspective on how I view them, because whatever they taught you in school that these pyramids or these mummies or any of that stuff was, ball that piece of paper up and throw it in the trash and start over. Because I have gone all the way back to the beginning. They have done everything in their power from 325 AD, Council of Nicaea, to remove things from the Bible that allow you to believe in supernatural things, such as vampires and werewolves. Those are real things, folks. Those are hybrids of Nephilim. Not all of them died, because it tells you in the Bible, Noah was the only pure one, which means his wife and his son's wife were not of full pure blood, which means they were hybrid. They had Nephilim blood in them. We all know about recessive genetics and how they go forward. These creatures, some of them hid, some of them survived, some of them were in hibernation. But they put these things in movies like vampires and werewolves and jinns, and so you'll believe they're fantasies. That's only in movies. That's a programming trick, so that you don't understand that the vampire and the werewolf and the jinn, those are the ones sitting at the top of the pyramid pulling the strings, because they keep their bloodlines pure with incestuous breeding to keep that Nephilim bloodline in them to hold control. I said all that out loud. I said the quiet part out loud, y'all.
I've been doing that all day.
Damn.
I'm just giving
You have
up.
destroyed my world.
Like my sound effects.
I'm getting good at saying the quiet part
Well,
out loud, because I'm done being quiet.
Blend in our bloodlines or any other bloodlines when they know what they've got, where they're at. You know.
To
absolutely.
God's creation. It's all in the plan.
And this is why, if people don't know, that these people who have these incestuous relationships and breed children like a baby farm, then take these children and hand them out to other people who are not in their group but are closely related. And these people end up fostering or adopting these children. Then these children are brought up, become Hollywood stars and singers and politicians, and, like blondes with big blue eyes. If y'all don't know who the blonde is with the big blue eyes, you might want to go check, because I done found out the girlfriends had 4 different last names.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting deeper on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again, Roxy, about blondes with blue eyes.
The blonde with the big blue eyes. The blonde.
Not blondes with blue. Let's not get crazy.
No. We're talking I Pet Goat, little girl in the white dress, who we think she is. I've now found 2 other names that she did acting up under. Miss, I never dated anybody until I married him. I've now found her on 2 reality shows. One of them, The Amazing Race. Another one was a CIA film. Another one was a movie about a hive mind AI control that never came to be. And she's been spotted at a military base that is nothing but a mind control military base. That's all they do there. And one of the people that helped to found her husband's company is a full-on Satanist.
Yep.
Why would a full-on Satanist want to create a Christian organization?
Oh, they do it all the time. Oh, they do it all the time. Oh, fun fact, guys. PETA, it's not a Christian organization, but they are very well known for being anti-violent, with animals and the whole shtick. They are 100. Oh no, they get crazy. They'll go into restaurants in front of children and show slaughter videos. It's insane.
Those are the same kind of people that are standing up there on the sidewalk protesting.
Yes, they are 100% funded by the Satanic Temple.
I'm gonna tell
that is where their money comes
if
from.
y'all see Roxy's black Chevy at a protest, it's because I'm riding down the road playing Ice Ice Baby. I'm just saying.
So look at this one here. This one's called, this is a video game called Deep Fear, come out in 1998. And the image itself from the cover probably looks a little familiar, I would imagine.
Yeah, that shape is very
Looks like the Grinch's hand.
6 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very 6 years
Yep.
ago.
Very
Exactly.
6 years ago.
Well, the storyline is about an unknown infection that begins happening, and it gets out and causes zombies and all this kind of stuff. And of course, it's just a coincidence. It isn't like
There are no coincidences.
Yeah, and a lot of times when I'm just doing research and stuff, this is the kind of things I have to plow through, looking at different things like this. So I feel like I'm almost interrupting the conversation, but at the same
No,
time,
you're good. We get derailed. We'll be out in the weeds talking about something
Hey,
else. She's leaving me
hey,
and
look.
Shannon unattended.
One thing I can count on is when y'all guys are on here, there ain't gonna be much dead air. That's for sure.
Well, for anybody that don't know it, Shannon and I spend 2 to 3 hours a day on the phone every day having these same conversations, and then 4 days a week we go live on air. So we have what they call ratchet jaw. It never stops.
And now I know where.
Except for the last couple days, I've missed you.
We'll have to talk about that later. I was addressing some issues.
Oh, this one is aliens, or excuse me, zombies being infected by a alien thing, something that comes from space.
Well, see, that's kind of the premise of the show Pluribus that we've been watching and going through with that alien coded virus. But see, this is the thing. Etymology of words. Human. When we start talking about alien, everybody, when you hear the word alien, you think the little green man you saw in a movie, right? Or an
the
alien.
alien movie itself.
Well, just
really
when
freaky one
okay,
where it busts out the chest and freaked me
No,
out.
no,
As
no.
about a 12-year-old.
No, I'm just talking about the word alien.
Oh, gotcha.
Like unicorn. When you say unicorn, you see a white horse with white hair and a horn out of his head. When you see alien, your first thought is the little green or gray man. You know, he's got long legs and long arms and 3 fingers.
Or
But you have to think
Lamb from Aleister Crowley.
Well, when you think about the word alien, it just means to be foreign from where you're at. Right now, a Californian to South Carolina is an alien. They are in a foreign land. So, alien doesn't have to mean that they come from Mars and they're green and they come in on a spaceship. When you think about, and I'm talking about the past, in history, in writings, in theology, when they talk about an alien, it just means somebody from not here. And that not here could be anywhere. It's just not here. If that makes sense. I know that's kind of...
It does make sense, but then I also, you've heard me say it before, but the word alien, of course, is a deceptive word, telling you
Absolutely. Etymology.
the aliens, it's a lie in it. It's not. Aliens don't exist in the way that they want us to. Now, there are many things from many places that can manifest here in our realm, in our world. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Rapture ready. Are you asking me and Shannon what days we go live? Because we go live Tuesday evening. I don't know if you're on the East or the West Coast. Tuesdays is 7:30 on the East Coast. What is that, Shannon? 4:30 on the West. And Thursday nights, it's 6:30 on the West, 9:30 on the East Coast.
And for the Supernatural show itself, it's Mondays and Fridays. And then I do Logic Before Authority on Wednesdays. And I've got to get Evolutionary Energy Arts schedule, if they've got a set schedule of when they go live and stuff.
Go subscribe, Rapture Ready, and then you'll see our notifications when they come up. Where are you at in South Carolina, Rapture? I'm out in Myrtle. Danny's Daniel's further south. Super Dave's on the other side of Columbia.
We all grew up in Myrtle Beach, riding up and down the boulevard, hollering out the
Yep.
window, acting like idiots.
Yep.
Along
But
with,
yeah, go subscribe to the Roxy Files or Children of the Most High, and you'll get the notifications. There you go. Look at there, Mike. My man, Mike. He done throwed it up there. But yeah, we carry on this absolutely 27-point conversation 4 days a week. And
grab,
let's go.
Mike, if you can, grab Children of the Most High also and throw it in there.
Kershaw County. There you go. Mike's on it. You're near Columbia,
that's
yeah.
Obviously western. You get, y'all guys get much ice or anything? Must not have been much of anything because you got electricity apparently. Unless
Or
you're
he could be
there on
sitting
your
in his
phone.
car with his cell phone. I
Could
mean,
be.
you don't never know.
We'll find out here in a second.
But just remember, I guess my final, because I got to get ready and get out of
Dave
here.
got Shannon's there.
Yeah, Super Dave. Mike's already on it, babe.
Thank you.
And there's Super Dave's as well. Yeah, Super Dave's is a part of the Supernatural Network too. That be careful of your assumption of what you think things are, because it's what's been programmed to you. And always remember that when you're thinking about things, remember what I told you about a unicorn. The only reason you know what a unicorn looks like is because as a child, you were told what a unicorn was, or it was in a coloring book. You've never seen a unicorn, so how do you know it looks like that? That goes with zombies and werewolves and vampires. Don't just think of them as the monster you saw in the movie and that you would be able to visibly identify them because they would look like the monster in the movie.
It might be exactly opposite.
Might be a coworker sitting in the cubicle beside you and you don't even realize it. Might be your doctor, your anesthesiologist, the girl doing your lab work, the bus driver.
If you go
There's demons all among us.
If you go to a doctor, let's say, and the doctor or the nurse, they're all dressed in white because they're pure, they are righteous, they're trying to help people. And that doctor, whether he knows it or not, which he probably does not know, he says, "Would you like to have a flu pow today?" And then he goes ahead and convinces this person to get a flu pow, and they get it. And this flu pow causes damage to this person. Well, there's many things I could say about it, but is that doctor not already a zombie?
Well,
I mean, to a level, because he's not questioning anything. He's not really there. And I know a doctor specifically that I'm thinking about in my own head right now. He's not there.
Well, I went to the doctor last Wednesday to the cancer center for my lab work and checkup, which they nearly gave me a heart attack the month before because of faulty blood work, and told me that my cholesterol was almost, what was it, Shannon, 682?
Yeah.
We were assuming I was falling over of cardiac arrest at any moment. It was a fluke. Next month's blood work was fine. But when I walk in the other day, it was my first visit of the year, they handed me a form. And it was just, front and back, had questions on it. The first question that my cancer center doctor was asking me was, how did I feel about my current spiritual connection? Well, let's just say Roxy wrote a big old X on it and wrote in bold letters, "It's none of your business," and handed it back in. But that's just how I am, folks. I will tell every nurse in there. And I actually told, when I was sitting in the lobby, I had a conversation with 3 ladies in there, and I'm like, y'all need to look into parasites. Yeah, y'all need to go do some look into parasites, because I'm telling you, these people ripping you off. And don't doubt that Roxy ain't loud enough that she's told every doctor that works in that building the exact same thing, that they need to go back and re-examine their education.
Mm-hmm. So,
because I'm loud.
I went to the doctor recently, and it was just kind of like a checkup thing. But I already knew before I went, I wasn't going to go along with them trying to take some blood because, well, I'll explain it. So I go to the doctor, and get in there, and of course he's offering me the flu pal, and I'm like, no, I don't want nothing put in my blood. And we've had this conversation before, and I told him, no, I don't want nothing put in my blood. The blood is holy. And then we go on, and then he says that they want to do a blood draw. I said, do I have any symptoms that think that I need a blood draw? No, it's just what we do. I said, but I don't want to go looking for things to put a label on to convince me that there's something wrong when there's nothing wrong. And he said, well, that's what we do. He said, and I said, somehow or another, he says, maybe you shouldn't be coming to the doctor. Uh-oh. And my hair on the back of my neck stood up, but I took a deep breath. I calmed down, and then I said, okay, all right. And I stood up, and I grabbed my jacket, and I put it on, and I walked out. Before I walked out, I said, I'm not mad with you or anything, but I have a choice as to whether I want my blood to be taken or not. And I've been being convicted to not allow my blood to be taken randomly when there's no real reason as to why I should be giving up some of my blood, because I don't know, and you don't know, what they're doing with this blood when they get it. I know they say they're testing it for this and that, but I don't know what else they do. And the blood is holy. And so that's why I can't allow you to do that today when there's no real reason to do it. And he didn't like that very good at all. But I walked out, and then I went to the front desk, and I told the front desk lady, and her hair stood up on her head. She got so mad at the doctor. She gives me the number to a district supervisor or somebody or another to call and complain and everything. But yeah, I just walked out.
Well, this is the easiest way to do it. If you need to go see one of those white-coated physicians, just look at them and go, no, thank you. It's a religious exemption, because most of them are already so programmed by the colleges and the books that they went to school with, because these people who are physicians, probably a majority of them, a percentage of them, went into this with good intentions to help others. They don't understand that.
Maybe.
They don't understand because they're asleep, that they were programmed from kindergarten forward to go by a set of textbooks which were written by the same Capri Sun Foundation that writes the medical books, that teaches these doctors how to be physicians, to work in hospitals, which the Capri Suns own. They own and fund the college, they own and fund the book, they own and fund the hospital, the pharmacia companies, they own all of it. It's just one big conglomerate of teaching these people. They're not treating anything. The easiest way to know that they're not treating or solving anything is that if the medicine they gave you worked, you wouldn't need a refill.
Mm-hmm. All they're doing
Plain
is
and
masking
simple.
symptoms to allow the actual problem to continue.
And cholesterol medicine will give you Alzheimer's. Statin drugs. Your brain is made of cholesterol. This whole contrived cholesterol measurement that they do, go and look at how they come up with this number of what your cholesterol is supposed to be. They took 1,000 people. Didn't matter age, weight, size, nothing. They took 1,000 people and averaged it out. And they said that's what yours is supposed to be. Most people aren't going to be that. So if you're anything off the variable, they're going to write you a statin drug. Statin drugs reduce cholesterol. Less cholesterol for your brain means Alzheimer's and dementia is going to set in. There's 4 more prescriptions they can write you. I have a low opinion of the medical field at this point in my life, you can't tell.
We will say this for YouTube's sake, is this is not medical advice. This is the opinions of individuals. And so, yeah, it's not medical advice. Consult your physician for whatever it is he wants to tell you, if you're willing to believe it. There's my disclaimer.
And you can disclaim it all you want to.
No, I agree with you. I have the same opinion.
Oh, I know.
I have a very, very very awful experience myself with doctor stuff lately, but I'm gonna save that for a whole another show. But just know I feel you just 100% on so many things. And they don't like no. They don't like it when you turn away their
They didn't
prescriptions or any of that. So,
Yeah, I got into
it's
it
a
with
fight.
him previous time with that stuff. And he wanted to give me a flu pal, and I said, no, I don't take those. And this was a previous visit. And I said, he says, why don't you like to protect yourself? I said, Dr. So-and-so, I said, I haven't had a cold in 25 years. And why should I want to put something in my blood that I don't know who made it? And I don't trust the neighbor across the street. Why am I going to trust somebody that's in some corporation somewhere that is making these products for profit? They're not making them and giving them away, even though they're free here. It says free on the sign. You're making money, and they're making money.
Right. When you go buy a house, the real estate agent makes money. When you go buy a car, the car salesman makes money. How do you not think that doctor, everybody, is on the same percentage of commission that car salesmen and house salesmen are? Or the girl at the perfume counter in a fancy department store? They make bonuses based off of the percentage of prescriptions that they can
Big
write
money.
you, and the MRIs and the CAT scans and PET scans and drugs.
Every time you fill a prescription, that doctor gets a check.
What's even worse is when you get into the accident stuff, and then lawyers are involved, and then it's just so much of the money grubbing, and it just makes it exponentially harder to get anything worth anything in that situation.
If you have to base healthcare off giving doctors bonuses to write you prescriptions that are not to cure you, they are only to mask your symptoms. And if you'll notice, when you see one of these stupid commercials on TV, they give you the 29 side effects of this or that, and this could be a side effect. They want you to have those side effects. They know they're there, because then they get to write you something else to cover the side effect. It's just a snowball situation. And I went in there, and I had been on my parasite regimen when all this started last year for a few months. And I got the comment of, oh, your blood work looks good. It's the best it's looked since you had cancer. What have you done? Have you changed your diet? I literally whipped the ivermectin box out of my pocketbook and laid it up on the exam table. And he kind of looked at me. He said, what is that? I said, it's an anti-parasite. He said, how would that do it? First off, sir, that $350,000 you sent in a medical degree, that $10 box right there will take care of your degree.
All you got to do is start looking at the attributes, behaviors, and all of this of any problem like that. And if you see a cancer patient, and if they're very far along, you might say, they're going to be thin and look like something's eating them from the inside out. And that's because it is. It's a parasite. It's not one big enough that you could see it if you held it in your hand, but anything that acts like a parasite is a parasite. Therefore, it can be treated as so. So there you have it. There are natural ways to do it, different products out there, because I'm sure Father has put them on this planet. But there are also some things that are, how would you say, dirt cheap, that they really can't charge a lot for because there's no patent available on it, that actually will help you. There's things that are normally on the bottom shelves, like Roxy has said before. And,
peroxide.
Yeah, like peroxide, And normally it's the cheapest stuff, because this parasite stuff, you can get it for $10 a box, basically. At least you could. I haven't looked in the last 30 days or so, and I can speak from experience. It actually, I seen no harm from it, and I did see benefits from it. And Miss Kim did for sure too.
I wanted to say something real quick, because everybody is in. on a totally individual level. You don't always know why, someone needs health care. This is all a personal thing. And this is where your personal relationship with Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, is so vital and so important, because you need to keep your eyes and ears on him. If your situation is in this position where you do need professional medical help, let God guide you to where to go, how to handle it, what to say no. Listen to everything he has to say. Let him guide your steps in that case. And you need to keep that on a personal relationship level with God, because he will
Absolutely.
tell you when something is wrong.
Yeah, take it to
And
him.
I say this because, there are a lot of us who have to rely on some things for whatever purpose in the professional industry. And there are once in a while some really good people who are not of the evil side. Okay, there are a few of them out there, and God will guide you to them if you listen. And that is important, because I just don't want everyone to feel like, going and seeking out something in God's protection is something wrong. It's a personal thing. So I just think that's kind of important to mention, because again, as we're not giving medical advice, we need to, again, just trust in what God is saying to us and what it is that we need to do on our journey.
Okay, I got.
Absolutely. And Roxy said, look up pine needle for parasites, because I get what you're saying about being nervous about it at this point, and
Oh yeah,
I'm nervous about
commercially
it.
made. Yeah.
We got to
Anything
constantly
natural.
rethink things. But the best solution is to find out what in nature
They copied.
is not able to be affected by a parasite. What plant or what? It's likely a plant, herb, root, something like that. And
White pine needle is the easiest one. You
Okay.
literally go out, get fresh pine needles off of the tree, put them in a jar, water, a little bit of sugar, let it set a couple of days. When you come back and pop the top, it's going to fizzy like you had opened up a Sprite. It actually tastes like Sprite. It tastes a little bit like Sprite, a little bit like Mountain Dew. All it is water, sugar, and pine needles. Rinse them off before you put in the jar in case there's any little bugs on them. But you cut off the little brown stuff where it was actually connected to the limb. It's one of the best anti-parasitics out there. Every single one of these prescriptions that they write, the only reason they can do that, you cannot patent something that God created. So they have to add something to it in order to patent it, to charge you $2,700 for it.
Yep. Exactly.
Girl, I want you to write a book, and I want to be the first one to buy it.
I ain't got time for that, Shannon. You do realize we do 5 shows a week.
I know. Maybe we could just ask Tracy to just type out everything you say and put it in a blog. Are you listening, Tracy? I love you.
Well, guys, I am going to go ahead and get us wrapped up here. I appreciate everybody being here today, especially Roxy, Shannon, and Miss Kim helping me out in the background. And a huge shout out to Super Dave. Super Dave 44 has a YouTube channel also, if you're not familiar with that yet. And that's the name of it, Super Dave 44. Encourage you to go over there. He really does an awesome job. Just being truthful and blunt, he does an awesome job. And I'm proud of Super Dave. I'm proud to be associated with him. And again, so thank you, Super Dave, and thank you, Mike Smith, for helping us the way you choose to do. Everything we do within the network, which is the Supernatural Show Network, is all free will. There's nothing that is required, although there are things that may make sense to each participant of the network that they would want to do, like the little logo you see in the upper right-hand corner, or however they choose to participate, so that we can help lift up other channels like Evolutionary Energy Arts, or Jesus Freak Computer Geek, which is going to be joining us again here very
So
soon.
excited about
And-
that.
And Clayton,
so
we're gonna get
excited.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Clayton up and running before long, because
I'm
y'all
excited
need to
about
hear
that.
Clayton.
Yes.
I'm hearing rumors, and then we also about Clayton, and of course Jesse Howe is in the process of getting his technology all set up so that he can start rolling as well. And I've got a number of others that are lining up. I've just got to get my systems down a little bit better than what they are, because if I open the door completely and start really promoting it, it's already all I can handle, pretty much is what I'm saying, I guess. So anyways, thank you all, especially the viewers, for being here. And with that, I've just got one little video I'm going to play. Y'all guys can go ahead and drop out of the studio if you want, and then I'll say a few words after this. And but thank you to everybody for being here today, and we'll see y'all guys again on, for me it'll be Wednesday, for Roxy and Shannon it'll be tomorrow evening at about what time, Roxy?
7:30 Eastern.
7:30 Eastern.
And 4:30 p.m. On the Pacific Standard.
Okay.
Time.
And how about on Thursday?
That is 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so what? That's like
9:30.
9:30.
There you go.
Girl, I'm sorry.
All right. And then, of course,
We're not real good at 3-hour math.
we'll be back here again on Friday. And I don't know if Clayton's available for Friday, but I'm going to open the door for a guest to be on here. Not, whether you're a network potential guest kind of thing, or whether you're just a guest. Either way, we're going to have somebody on with us on Friday. So we'll see y'all guys then. And I'll see you again here in a minute. But y'all guys are good to go. And see everybody again soon. Throughout all history of mankind, man has built anything he could dream of. Achievements that seemed impossible then, and even now. Sometimes against extreme odds and adversities. Yet, if man believes hard enough and has faith in his hands and in his mind, he can move mountains. He can achieve anything. Yet, not alone. He must have others that believe in his dream. Others to help build the impossible. Some will always say, you can't do that. Not now, not here. Yet, with faith and perseverance, that man will find his people. He will find those too that are brave enough to dare to cut against the grain, to swim against the current of the waters, to build what others will mock and gnash their teeth as they see it rising from the dust of the earth. As they see the foundation go in, brick by brick, it shall be laid. Sweat, tears, and a few drips of blood mixed in with the dust and the clay. Another man once had such a dream. Jesus Christ had just that kind of dream. To speak and deliver a message to the entire world. Not just in the time that he walked this land, but a message that would echo throughout lands and times, landing upon our ears even today. How many did not believe in his dream? How many thought that he was pretending to be something he was not? How many wanted him to fail, yet he did not fail? Why? He gathered a core group of people that believed in him and believed in his words, works, and the fruits thereof. He built a solid foundation of supporters, and upon that foundation he raised a temple built without hands, called the body of Christ. We at the Supernatural Show Network know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And yes, we have just such a dream to build, and it all starts with you. The foundation, shod with the gospel of peace. The placing of the symbolic bricks, blocks, and cornerstones. Each one held symbolically in place by great belief and faith that what is being built here is righteous and faithful. Once the foundation is laid, brick by each of you, then we will raise the symbolic walls, girt about with the truth. And then we will all begin to thrive successfully. We will then place the trusses above our heads, in which we have trust and faith that their strength will hold back the fiery darts of the wicked and withstand the evil day, having done all to stand. From the laying of the first bricks, blocks, and cornerstones held in place by the chosen ones, and during the raising of the walls to laying of the trusses, we shall empower the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. We shall open our mouths boldly and make known the spirit of the gospel. If you trust in us and we trust in you, the gospel of truth will be heard across all of the lands and upon all of the ears. This dream will be built without hands, just as Christ proclaimed, for we strive to build this dream upon words of truth, words of righteousness, bringing together the great truth seekers and speakers from across the world, standing finally together as the prophesied body of Christ. Now stand, pick up and place thy brick, block, or cornerstone, and hold it fast in place with faith, knowing that thy will maintain the strength to hold it in its righteous place, knowing that you are part of the supernatural dream, to build a network and work shoulder to shoulder until we all reach our lofty goals, to let every ear that can hear to hear. We strive to have truth tellers speaking in every tongue, in every language, and every day and night, one unified voice speaking peace and truth across one unified network, the Supernatural Show Network. It's time. No more division. No more, there's nothing I can do. No more, I am alone. It's time to take each of our places in destiny. Welcome to the body of Christ. Place your foundation brick, block, or cornerstone now at thesupernatural.show. So again, thank you to everybody for being here today, and I hope you understand. Yeah, and I know I'll probably look silly. I got my hair up, and got a little warm in here, even though it's cold outside. Anyways, I hope y'all guys understand yet what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do, and understand that we have to do this. Daniel can't do this, but we can. So as we continue to add more people to the network and grow new people that have never even done videos before or spoken out before, which we have several of those that I'm working with behind the scenes, all this work that y'all guys never get to see that I'm doing, meeting with people and helping them understand how to set up their platforms. And now it sounds like we might have Clayton that we need to help as well. And I'm doing the work. I'm doing my part. I'm doing the best I can. And so figure out one way or another and join us in helping us build the body of Christ. It is what it is. And I invite you on this journey. I love you guys, and we will see you again for me on Wednesday, if not sooner. So I love you. Till next time, remember, Father in heaven loves you, and he wants us to stop being divided and work together. It's time.
Mm-hmm.